Well, I must say, it feels like autumn's on the way. Come to Cannock Chase this morning and the colours are starting to turn. It's looking beautiful. Not the only sign of autumn. I'm also recovering from a bit of a seasonal cold that I've had this week, so it's good to get out and air the lungs a bit. But yeah, as I say, I've come to Cannock Chase this morning, come with Steve, met with Colin, and we've just met up with a local photographer, Simon Harvey, as well. And we're just going to go around and see what we can find. But it is looking beautiful. It was hoping for a bit of mist. There's a bit of atmosphere in the distance, there is, but I wouldn't call it mist. But what we do have is actually what I do quite like in woodland, which is nicely sort of overcast skies. I do quite like those sort of overcast mornings in woodland. I'd rather have these overcast conditions than bright blue skies and lots of little hot spots coming through and just creating utter chaos in the woodlands. So actually, I can work with this. It feels great to be back out properly in the woodland that I come to so often. I've not been here for months, throughout the whole of summer at least. So it feels great to be back here, it really does. So yeah, we are starting to see, as I say, signs of autumn coming in, and I think it won't be too long before this looks absolutely spectacular. So come along with me this morning and we'll see if we can try and grab some images. I've been walking along the path now for a short while and came across this beautiful scene here. It's a scene I've actually walked past many times I've been to Cannock Chase, but I've never thought about framing it up till now, to be honest with you. The silver birch, it's pretty much all about this silver birch on the right hand side of the image, but she's got some lovely texture on it and some lovely moss, and it just looks really nice. And with the soft light we've got at the moment, it just pops, it really does. But it's all about these branches that are kind of leaning out across this little sort of valley here into the background, and there's just some little splashes of colour that I think really stand out. And I'm also making use of sort of this foreground bracken here, so I'm shooting the f16 at 50mm just to get maximal sharpness from front all the way through to the back. And there's a single piece of bracken here that looks really quite nice, and what I'm doing is I'm placing it in such a way that it's sitting nicely in this sort of like dark spot in the background there. It's kind of just covering that over, but it's just helping it add a little extra balance to the scene. It's a really nice scene, and one of the things that really drew me to this, and I actually really like, is this sort of like dead piece of a sort of branch, if you like. It's got some sort of really nice rusty colours that's kind of sitting just below the silver birch. Just little elements of colour that are coming together that sort of give it that sort of transition sort of feeling from sort of summer into autumn here. It's a beautiful scene, it really is. Let me pop it on screen for you. So time after time, I meet so many photographers that always tell me they struggle with woodland photography. And I completely get it, I do. It can be a very challenging location because there's so much going on, and trying to make some sense of that perceived sort of chaos can be very difficult. But the best thing I can recommend to anyone who is ever struggling with woodland photography is slow down, really slow down. It's very tempting to get your camera and just run through the woodlands and see what you can grab, but that's probably one of the worst things you can do, unless the conditions are amazing and very fleeting. But in those situations, it's always best to be in a location that you know like the back of your hand. But slow down, just slow down. So an example here is this scene behind me. Doesn't look, probably on here, anything special, but to me it looks absolutely stunning. Now it won't work today because I've got a big expanse of the sky in, but I just love this scene here. There's just so much going on when you piece it all together. I spent probably about half an hour walking around trying to frame this up. But you've got this oak sort of here on the sort of left hand side, your right hand side, and it's sort of arching over here, but then you've got these sort of fallen branches here, all twisted and gnarly with some lovely soft light coming through, and it's sort of balanced on the right hand side or your left hand side with this oak and the silver birch here as well. But in the middle of all that, as I say, you've got these fallen branches with nice light, but there's some sort of dead leaves there with some sort of lovely rich rusty colours set against that green backdrop that looks spectacular. I'm not taking it today, it won't work with the conditions we've got, I know that, but slow down. I would walk straight past that and wouldn't even give it a second glance if I didn't slow down. That's the key really when you come to a woodland. I know I keep saying it, but slow down. It's not a race, just take it all in. Listen to the sounds, the birds. Listen to the sounds of the trees. Just enjoy it and take your time. And when you see something that looks interesting, get your camera out. Don't get your tripod out, just get your camera out, slowly walk around and just frame something up that you think is going to work. Then ask yourself the question, how can I improve this? And your woodland photography definitely will improve. And not just that, you'll enjoy the morning a lot more as well. You just sort of relax in these beautiful environments. So I've been taking my time, walking around, and I've ended up at a tree that I've photographed numerous times. I was going to say, at the moment, it's not optimal to get this shot because of how high the bracken is, but actually that's created an opportunity because yes, the bracken is quite high up at the moment and it's kind of blocking the shot a little bit. But actually, with that transition that we've got from summer into autumn, you have got some lovely colour changes in this bracken here with these sort of rusty brown colours that I had back in that shot earlier. But obviously still the summer greens as well. And on the silver birch, there are some sort of little, I love to call them golden medallions on this silver birch here, which has obviously got the most amazing shape to it. And it just really does, to me, tell that story of that transition from summer into autumn. So actually, I've taken the shot very differently to how I normally would because of the bracken. Very purposely, I've actually angled the camera down a bit. I've gone for a 16:9, but actually made some more use of the bracken, and actually the tree is not as significant in the scene as it normally would be when I shoot it. I normally angle it more sort of pointing up a bit and making it more about the tree, but actually by angling it down at a slightly wider focal length, really making use of this bracken to support this main feature tree here, and I think it looks absolutely stunning on the back of the camera. So I'm going to pop it on screen and again, just take my time, just enjoy being out in this most beautiful place. And if I get any photos, it's just a bonus. That's the best thing you can do with woodland photography. Just really, really slow down and enjoy it. There's a scene here I've shot in all different seasons, but I return to it time and time again because it's so close to the car. It's only just 5 minutes away from here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful scene. You've got this sort of silver birch has got this almost sort of like horseshoe shape to it. You can just see it there. And then just beyond that, you've got some silver birch with the most beautiful, bright white silver bark on it. And obviously then you've got some silver birch on the left-hand side here as well. And it's such a simple, beautiful scene. And with the soft light that's just coming through, highlighting the silver birch in the background there, it just works really quite nice. And I think this time of year as well, especially, again, that sort of transition between the, you know, the greens of the bracken to these rich, rusty golden colours, it just looks really, really quite painterly. I've taken it handheld because it's more than bright enough now to do that, and I couldn't be bothered to faff around with the tripod, but it's absolutely fine. Shooting f11, 1/50th of a second, and I've upped the ISO a little bit, but I don't mind upping the ISO in woodlands. Doesn't really make any real difference, I don't find anyway. And yeah, just grab the shot handheld. So yeah, hope you enjoy this shot. Let's go and see what else we can grab. Now, if you've watched the video up to this point, you'd have heard me banging on about slowing down when it comes to woodland photography. And this here, I think, is a prime example of why you should slow down in the woodland. So that same photo I took just a moment ago was taken 10 feet away from where I am. So I've walked up, back and around to about where you are, and I've framed up an image which I actually think is a much stronger composition than the one I just took. You still have that lovely sort of almost horseshoe shape, but I do prefer these birch on the left hand side here, anchoring that left hand side of the image. And what I also really like is this branch coming out the right hand side of the horseshoe, I'm going to call it, sort of branching out and leaning over to these birches on the left hand side. I think is a much, much stronger composition. And a moment ago we just had a little bit of soft light come through, just lighting up these silver birch here, and I think it looks absolutely spectacular. So if you want an example of why it's really important to slow down with woodland photography, or to be honest, any landscape photography, this I think is a really good example. I could have very, very easily took that last shot and then walked off to go and try and find a completely different composition. But by slowing down, I stuck to the same composition and thought to myself, how can I improve it? Walked a very short distance and actually think I came away with a much, much stronger composition. Here's this shot. So I've enjoyed walking around for a bit and just really took my time, as I say. And I might have got a couple of nice images this morning, but to be honest, I'm not too disappointed if I haven't. It's not necessarily about the photography, is it? It's about being out in places like this, enjoying that wonderful bird song, being amongst this sort of ancient woodland. You know, after a stressful week at work, there's no better place to come than somewhere like this at the weekend and just get away from it all. It's magical, it really is. So it's going to be a bit of a short one, this one. I'm still going to go for a walk round, but the lighting's getting a bit harsh, so I can't see much in the way of photography now. But as I say, I'm just going to have a walk round and just really enjoy it. But for this vlog, I think I'm going to end it. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. And if you have, why not hit the like button? And obviously, if you really enjoy it, it'd also help if you subscribe to the channel. But from me here at Cannock Chase, I'll see you soon.